This is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am Canuck Clay Emo, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take, for Tuesday, October the 25th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Thanks in advance to my moderators. Do what you need to do. Thanks in advance to all members, and thanks in advance to all of you, no matter where you're watching from, whether you're in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, or around the world. Thank you for being here. You know how I do not at all take you for granted. You know how much I appreciate you being here, and you know that I get that you could be watching, doing anything else, but the fact that you are here with me right now, it means a lot, and I'm very grateful to all of you. If you're listening on the podcast platform, make sure you rate and review the podcast right now. And don't forget, I always invite you. I will go for the first 10 or 15 minutes. Tuesday is always a quicker show because we've just done Canucks After Dark. Shout out to everyone there shout out to everyone who's in here right now who was with Parker and me for Canucks After Dark just prior to this. Yeah, double duty tonight, and then Tuesday night is my bowling night, which I did, and then it's my church prayer night, which I got to get to at the top of the hour. So I'm only going to go for about 30 minutes max tonight for sure. But I appreciate that you're here. I will go for the first half, you'll go for the second half, and then as it's saying on the bottom, make sure you subscribe. Help me get to 10K. We're at 10 Clay. We are getting there slowly but surely. And then subscribe so you can leave comments. You can also like the video. That always helps me a lot. So I appreciate you doing that in advance. Like the video, like the fact that we are together. There's only 5 likes. I know we're not very happy about the Canucks right now, but let's bump that like number up as we go. And you can also leave donations. You can also gift memberships. And you can also, most important of all, as it says there, get active in the comment section. And I always say that I changed the banner on the bottom of the screen because I want to make sure that I put all those calls to action there. Not only subscribing, but also liking the video, leaving donations, gifting memberships, and most importantly, leaving comments. It is October 25th. The Canucks have a game on Thursday in Seattle, a game on Friday, hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then they don't play Saturday. They don't play Sunday. They don't play Monday. It's kind of weird. And then they play again on Tuesday, hosting the New Jersey Devils. Then Thursday, hosting the Anaheim Ducks, Kevin Bieksa retirement night. And then on Saturday, hosting the Nashville Predators. So 4 of the next 5 games are at home. So that should be a good thing. Even the Canucks are 0-2 so far at home. 4 of the next 5 games, I'd say 3 or 4 of them aren't against super strong teams. Sure, Seattle is doing better than expected, but let's see. Seattle is 3-3-2, so 8 points in 8 games, so 500. Anaheim is only a point ahead of us. They're 1-4-1 in 3. Then we also have Nashville coming in. They're 2-4-1, so they're also below 500. Then you have New Jersey, who is 4-3. Okay, so they're pretty good. And Pittsburgh, that 4-2-1. So I'd say Pittsburgh's good. New Jersey's good. Well, at least they're over 500. Seattle is 500, and then Anaheim and someone else. Anaheim and Nashville are below 500. So the Canucks have an opportunity to get some points. They have an opportunity to climb back there. I just see my son Sean is watching from the gym. So Sean, as you know, was on my stream last night. Got a lot of good feedback to Sean, and Sean even offered to come on here and be my guest more often, which is great. Sean is a very smart, intelligent, articulate hockey fan. Although some people did say that he sounds exactly like me in our intonation and the way we phrase things. So I'm not sure if Sean would be happy to hear that. But Sean, thank you for saying hello from the gym. I just saw Sean about an hour and a half ago, him and Jacob at the bowling alley. I see Kayla passing by my office right here. And my lovely wife Gail has been in bed since an hour ago because she goes to bed really, really early. I'll just talk for a few minutes and then I want to throw it to you. I can't believe there's 61 of you in here at 11:15 at night, but thank you for being here. My question to you right now, is, I know I titled the stream, "Is this season already a lost cause?" So let me talk about that, and let me talk about some of the things that could happen this season, and then I'll throw it to you for all of your comments. There's just so much going on with the team right now. Obviously, front of mind is the fact that the Canucks have not won a game yet. You know, I called it, they've lost 7 in a row, and someone called me out and said, technically, it's not those 2 overtime losses don't count in the loss column. But I would counter, well, they didn't win those games. They haven't won a game yet. So if you don't win, you lose. So where you call it, the Canucks are winless in 7, I think it's still accurate to say the Canucks have lost 7 in a row because they have not won any of those 7 games. So regardless, it's not great. So that's the biggest story. And as Parker and I were talking about, what's crazy is I know the Canucks team, not very popular throughout the throughout the league. Not very popular when Burrows and Kessler and Speaking Bieksa were part of the team. A lot of the fans actually hated the Canucks. They thought they were dirty. They thought they were cocky, whatever it may be. But now I think the general mood around the NHL is people actually feel bad for the Canucks. People actually feel sorry for the Canucks. And that is pretty tough. That's a pretty tough spot to be in. So we know that the Canucks are 0-5-2. We know the story of the first 5 games was the fact that they blew multi-goal leads in the third period, which is ridiculous. But that's what they did. We also know that the Canucks have been banged up by injury. Besser is the one forward who's out right now. But even though he hasn't really played that well, that's still a big loss. So Besser is out. And then on D, you have your best defenseman, your number 1 in Quinn Hughes. You probably have your number 4 in Travis Dermott, hasn't played yet. And then you have your number 6, 7 in Pullman, who's battling probably concussion issues. So you have 3 of your top 6 or top 7 out. And that's why you're playing guys like Guillaume Brisebois and Riley Stillman, who's also injured, and Kyle Burrows. These are guys that probably shouldn't be regular NHLers. That doesn't mean they don't try hard. That doesn't mean that they give their all. But it does certainly mean that, it just shows how thin the Canucks are on defense. So injuries have been an issue. Not the reason, not an excuse, but they have been an issue. Then, as Michelle just asked, actually, good timing, there's a chemistry issue. We saw Miller and Shen fighting at the end of the second period of the Sabres game. You had Connor Bedard. So maybe that's wishful thinking. You had Connor Garland. I can't believe I did that. You have Connor Garland come in and have to separate them. There's rumors of another players-only meeting after last night's loss. That's 2 players-only meetings in the span of 3 weeks and 7 games. That's not good. So the players are trying to figure out. So there's that issue. By the way, I want to acknowledge Sidhu's. He used his membership message, and thank you. It's weird. It doesn't show up on my streaming platform, so I have to read it without showing it. I feel the only way we can win against the Pens is if we find out which hotel the Pens are in. We send Clay to steal Crosby's suitcase and uniform and run away, then show up after the game and say, "This is what you're looking for." That's exactly what I'm going to do. On Thursday night, after my stream, I'm going to head down to the whatever hotel they're at. Usually a lot of away teams stay at the Western Bay Shore, and I'm going to do something to Crosby's suitcase. That was certainly worth using your membership chat for. So thank you, Sidhu. I'm going to keep that in mind. Then there's the Horvat contract. He hasn't signed one, so he's going to be a UFA at the end of this year unless something changes. And maybe, as Parker and I talked about, maybe Horvat doesn't want to come back to this mess. He's given 7 years to this team already. So there's that. Then there is Bruce Boudreau and the lack of confidence in him by Rutherford from everything says in Alvin. Then there's Rutherford talking about the fact that fans don't appreciate or understand how long it takes to do a true rebuild. So then you hear the words rebuild or retool on the fly, which is very, very difficult to do. As many people have said, you either have to do one or the other. You either trying to win now or you rebuild. But this middle ground of trying to rebuild on the fly, stay competitive, there's very few teams that have pulled it off really well. Very, very few teams that have done it well. I'm trying to think of any examples of teams that have done it well. Rebuilding on the fly or retooling on the fly. Yeah, that's a tough one, actually. I think maybe St. Louis, where you have guys like Kyrou and Thomas and Bushnevich. Maybe that's one example, but I don't think there's a lot of really good examples. So there's that issue. So I've named 5 or 6 issues right now. Not special teams, the actual play on the ice, special teams, team defense. So we have the record, we have the injuries, we have Horvat, we have chemistry, we have special teams, we have team defense, we have Boudreau, we have Rutherford, and the last one I want to end off is actually Funk You says maybe Nashville's done a pretty good job of rebuilding. They got some young players as well. That's not bad. So the last thing I want to talk about, then I'll throw it over to you, is the fans. And the fans were brutal on Saturday, voicing their displeasure on Saturday because the Canucks were outclassed by a team that shouldn't be much better than us, at least on paper. The Buffalo Sabres, our expansion cousins from 1970, lost 5-1. Jerseys being thrown on the ice, people booing for the majority of the third period. It was ugly. Yesterday, I was at the game, and the Canucks were outclassed again. But you expect them to be outclassed, being how shorthanded they are. And Carolina is such a good team. So Carolina never looked like they were panicking, never felt like they were in trouble. But at the same time, what I was impressed is too strong of a word, you guys. But what I did notice yesterday is Canucks fans weren't booing until the very end of the game, at least, where I heard a little bit. But they weren't booing even when Carolina scored 2 goals in 37 seconds. Because I think they realized that the Canucks, at least they were making an effort, but they were also playing against a team that was simply much more talented than them. So a couple of things that I'll address real quick. Yeah, ownership could be an issue. Maybe the meddling, potentially Francesco Aquilini. This guy says we have a right to boo. You do. And I'm not a gatekeeper. You guys know that I've always said on this channel, both on my streams and my vlogs, I have no right to tell you how to be a fan. I have no right to do that, and that's not my place. That's a good point. And then I'll share this, and then I'll go to the middle. Sebastian asked a really good question. Says this: I haven't heard you articulate where you are as a fan now. What are your expectations the rest of the season? Can we get back to 500 and steadily be fighting for top spot in the division? Great question, Sebastian. I will answer this, and then I'll go to the mid part, the sponsor read. I appreciate you asking for my opinion. As a fan and as a content creator, I want the Canucks to win. Full stop. It's not about who spends the most money on the team but I do know. I always say I spend a lot of time, energy, and money on this team. And I'd much rather be watching, paying for, talking about, creating content about a team that wins. Full stop. Even though these streams have been quite big, I think, despite the fact that Canucks are losing. So I always want to be cheering for a team that is winning. I'm also mature enough to realize that even though I can't say the T word, it's not in my vocabulary, I get that the worse we do, the better chance we have of winning the lottery and then winding up with a really good player, whether it's Bedard or someone else. I get that. Like I'm not stupid. I get that part. I also get that it does the Canucks no good to have a slow start, to fight and scratch and claw their way back, only to miss the playoffs and then finish with a 10th to 12th overall pick, 10th to 15th, as opposed to a top 5. So I get that as well. Although obviously you can't pick lottery, you can't predict the lottery. And finally, I don't subscribe. I do and I don't subscribe to the fact that once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, because it is true. But when we point to the San Jose's and the St. Louis and the LA Kings of the world, it's rare. That's usually the exception, and not the rule. And if we have to face a team like the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs, for instance, I don't like our chances. So to answer your question, Sebastian, as a fan, as a content creator, I want them to win. I want them to get, we got to do this in stages. Win a few games, get close to 500, then chip away at moving yourself over 500. But the Canucks are already 5 games under that mark. And even if they win their next 5, which I don't think they can, even if they win their next 5, that just puts them at 500. Exactly what Sky just says right there. Oh, he just retracted it. He said, if we were 5-5-2, is this a different conversation? So there we go. Thank you for asking for my opinion, Sebastian. I hope I answered that to your satisfaction. Let's get to the mid-show sponsor read. And that means this is your time to start putting in your comments. And I really want to know where you're at with the team right now and what you think the biggest issue is. I listed off 8 or 9. So you can answer where you're at with the team. Is the season already a lost cause? And or what's the biggest issue in your mind right now? Put any of those things in the comments and I will start to read them. Thank you to my lead sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsor, Performance Transform, Personal Training and Weight Loss. Sign up now for a free 7-day trial. Use the link performancetransform.ca/CanuckClay, the link that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen. And Coach Patrick will definitely take care of you. By the way, I'm at my lowest weight since the summer, which is good. I want to lose more pounds, but I've hit my lowest weight since the summer, which I'm happy about. So thank you to Coach Patrick and his team. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of the fine artwork. Thank you to Monkey Nine Brewing, my eternal sponsor. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the code CanuckClay at checkout vessi.ca and get $15 off every pair of Vessi shoes that you buy. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to donate if you want to, gift memberships, and keep going in the comment section. Let's see what you have to say here. Clay says, as a Leafs fan, let's get through this pain together. Good. I like having support. I'm great, Harry. What are your thoughts on the Oilers and Flames beating the Penguins? Could we see the Canucks beating the Penguins on the 28th? Sure, we could see it. I'm not convinced that's going to happen, but I will. I hope. I said on Canucks Avatar, I want the Canucks to get 2 points out of the next 2 games. I'd love it if they get 3, but that means they got to win one of the games. I think they should be able to beat Seattle. They really should, even though Seattle's ahead of them in the standings. Bester to the Wild for Matt Dumba. I don't know all of Dumba's contract details, but I do know I didn't want to make that trade last year. Maybe he would be... I don't know his contract. I have to look it up before I make a good answer. Sidhu, I was one of the fans booing and walked out on Saturday. The only thing I didn't do is throw my jersey. I was wearing my 33 jersey and I value that too much. Yeah, but you're expressing your frustration by booing and walking out. Good question, Rebirth. How much autonomy does Rutherford actually have versus Aquilini meddling? Bruce, teams get good when they have 2 first-round draft picks overall and 2 second picks overall, like Buffalo. Yeah, that's something we have not had in the past few years. If we were 5-0-2 instead, it would be awesome, but we are not there. Having a bowl of popcorn, watching the dumpster fire get obliterated by a freight train, embracing the meme. Oh, man. If they can't beat Seattle, they ain't beating the Penguins. That's true, but it depends which goalie's playing which game. Canucks should do what the Habs did last year, T and pray and hopefully get the number 1 pick. Well, I do pray a lot, but I don't say the T word. Hey, Fillmore, working the Sharks game. First day doing video production. I hope it went well for you. Zal, this is the most frustrated I've ever been with the team, more than Benning and Messier. Wow, that's saying a lot. Ownership is the issue. Fangirl, I'm okay right now with how the season's gone, but just okay. And I think the D needs an upgrade. I agree. Sky says we might not beat anyone until this team turns around. Cal feels like a group of skilled players who do not know how to play together. Yes, the chemistry issue for sure. So Sidhu, even after his frustration, then goes and buys tickets to the Coyotes game. So David's saying it's almost a lost cause, but just not there yet. Mialza is saying this core is not a contender at their best. We have no surplus of cap, draft, picks, or prospects. I want to see a cup eventually, not a team that squeaks in around. Yeah, I just don't see this team as is constructed competing. Yes, Fangirl, I expect them to win. Kesso becoming Iron Man, it's fine. He's, a lot of people make fun of his his physical attributes or whatever, but he has been consistent. I think he's been propped up by some really good teammates, but he's a good to great player, but he's not like Hall of Fame player in my mind. Last time the Canucks won in regulation was, I think, the second last game, regular season game. I mean, I think it was the second last game of the year last year. I think, because I know they lost their last game. Do I think McCann will go off against the Canucks? Not necessarily. Hey, Bruce, thanks for the group hug, brother. Nice to see you. Every once in a while, blind squirrel finds a nut. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Based on Seattle's win versus Buffalo, I'm not sure we can beat Seattle. Yeah, transitivity doesn't always work. A beats B, B beats C. That means A will beat C. That doesn't always work, but who knows? Zal thinks it's bad, the bubble playoffs and the Bruce bump, because it's kind of given us a fake hope or false hope. Michelle, team needs to get a break, get the number one pick. Would love to see Connor in a Canucks uniform. Me too. Hello, Shannon. Yes, I know Cheshire Cat. I can't help you that way, brother. Carol, thank you for the donation. $10 donation. Let's give some love for Carol in the chat. I'm frustrated, however, I do not want to give up on my team. In the last game, I stopped watching and watched something else. I do not want to get sick over getting upset about my team. I agree with you, Carol, absolutely. And yes, let's give some love to Carol in the comment section. Thank you for that. Yeah, Prez, I do not, the camera angle seems really high, doesn't it? And now I don't get on TV as much because it doesn't get to the 8th row all the time. Sebastian, how confident are you they can make it into a wild card or third in Pacific? I'm not as confident as when the season started, but I did pick them to finish third in the Pacific, so I got to stick to that for sure. Do I want Aquilini to sell the team? I wouldn't be opposed. Hello, JDS. Do you think a player could get traded if the Canucks lose the Kraken? I think if the Canucks lose both of these games, Thursday, Friday, I think something will happen. Zal says, even if we finish last, we still won't get Bedard. Probably mess up the lottery somehow. No, Duffman, I don't think we should try and get Bedard. Badly need their own practice facility. When's the announcement? Yeah, were they working on that? Harry, I think any changes would happen after the Pittsburgh game. I don't think you do it when you have a back-to-back. Shannon, I'm worried, but I remember before Green left, they were not winning, and Bruce Boudreau came in and we started to win. So I think Boudreau can bring the team back to the winning team again. Would love that. If that happens, Shannon, would love that. Do you think there'll be any more line movements? I think so. That third line of Oman, Garland, and Kuzmenko was not effective, and Mikheyev wasn't great with Horvat and Miller. How will you celebrate when the Canucks win? By giving away stuff on my stream. Bought a ticket to the Canucks Coyotes game despite witnessing them losing to Buffalo. Is because despite this horrendous start, I still have hope that we'll turn the season around. I like it. No, I do not make Bedard captain right away, but he will be eventually. JDS, very loyal, which is awesome. We need more of you. Welcome, Jason. Better late than never indeed. I'm going to go for about 5 more minutes, but I appreciate that you are being here, that you are here. Nucks fans going to slam a beer if they win, as you should, just not while you're driving. I did not know Ethan Bear was a healthy scratch tonight. No, last night. Obviously, I knew that because he wasn't playing. Chatfield was playing. Jason is stressed. As a Leafs fan, thanks for taking Mikheyev and Dermott from us. Hopefully, y'all can take Kerfoot and Justin Hall. Yeah, I know not a lot of people are fans of Hall for sure. I want Dermott to do well. I want McCabe to do well as well. Lotto line for next game. Well, that would only work if Besser plays. Hughes with Myers, maybe. Yeah, Dickinson has 4 points. That's crazy. Yes, Kel, my next Steve Dangle podcast, Game Over Vancouver hosting gig will be Thursday night after the Kraken game. So I'll do that one, and then I'll do my stream right after. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to do my stream right after it because I've just done that one. No, we'll see. I'll probably do both. But yes, my next one is on Thursday. Then after I get through my massive work event on the November 5th, 6th weekend, I'll be doing a lot more of the Steve Dangle shows. Would I put 649 together? Yeah, I would. Once Besser comes back, Carol, we wouldn't necessarily sell the team to a guy who moved to another city. It'll just be another owner. But I don't think you have to worry about them moving them out of this city. Although, no, the Grizzlies were a completely different thing. I'm in shock. They're winless in 7, but I'm certainly not giving up on them for the playoffs. I want them to keep fighting and play for each other. And pride and block everything else out. Darren, love the optimism. I really do. Sidhu, I really hope this team gets winning because I don't want Boudreau to get fired. Me neither. I don't think they want to pay 3 coaches. Green's still in the final year of his contract that they're paying him. Then Boudreau, if they fire him, and then the new coach. Harry, haven't thought about this yet. You'll be the first to know, or among the first to know, when I decide. Clay, do you mean some like non-Canucks vlogs, like lifestyle vlogs? Let me know what you mean. Jason, until Hughes and Brock back, we ain't winning, especially Hughes is out. Might as well try and break the record of losing 14 in a row. Well, there's some positivity for you. Would I put Horvat on the third line? Only if you put Miller in the middle, of course. I wonder if Mikheyev was still hurt for all the talk of his skating. Yes, he was not very fast tonight. Edmund would entertain AV back. Okay. What do you think the lines will look to make it more effective for next game against Seattle? I'd put Garland up with Miller and Horvat. I'd go Pettersson, Kuzmenko, Mikheyev, and then your third line could be Oman, Podkolzin, Hagan. Oh, that seems very, very inexperienced though. I have to think about that. Yeah, Clay, I think if my channel was smaller, I would do more vlogs. But that's really not my cup of tea. Although I think I'm creative enough to do it. I do a lot of Instagram shorts and things like that, and Instagram reels for my. So I try to keep the YouTube and Twitter for my Canucks stuff, and I keep Instagram for my family, my faith, and my ministry. Jason is not wishing that other teams get injured, but he's saying that could be a difference. Bruce says confidence goes a long way in sports. Win a few in the tie turns. Losing like this, it's hard to get the confidence back. Yeah. And as Horvat says, you don't want to hear him say it, but he actually said it feels like they might not win again. For Boudreau getting fired, to be honest, I don't care about the cap thing. I just want him to get fired because I don't want him to get fired because he's really adorable and I don't want to see him looking sad. Yeah, he's been fired a couple times before, so it's not like it hasn't happened, but that's part of the business, I think. 2 more minutes. If they beat Seattle, the bandwagon will start to load up. I would welcome that. Shouldn't Canucks consider a veteran defenseman that are still free agents? They could use the help. They got to do something for sure. I'll be going to the game with my buddy Lucas on the 1st. That is indeed his birthday. Yes, and hopefully he gets a win for his birthday for sure. I will take 1 more minute of comments, questions, rapid fire, and then I do have to wrap up to get ready for my church prayer hour. If Bruce were to get fired, who would you want as your new head coach? Ooh, that one I would have to think about for sure. I wanted Paul Maurice, but because I always thought he did a good job with the Winnipeg Jets, but I know he's in Florida, so I'd have to think. Trotz is the name that seems to jump to the top of my head. Did I hear about Klingberg to the Canucks? No, is that a new rumor? Bruce is the only coach I wouldn't want fired. Jay says AV. Yes, Paul Maurice went to the Panthers. No thanks to Willie D. Bring back AV. Trotz. Should they promote Mike Yeo? I don't mind Mike Yeo, actually. Klingberg to the Canucks for Besser. I'm not sure the money lines up. Maybe it does. Wow. A lot of... And then, there's a good one. The Bruins. Yeah, actually, this is a good... As much as I hate saying this, the Bruins are a great example. Because they got some young players. And, yeah, even though Bergeron, Krejci, Chara, even Marchand, they're all getting up there, they are still always near the top of the standings. That is an excellent point. My friends, I'm going to wrap up here. I'm at the 30 minute mark or so. I do have to get going and get to my church. So thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thanks to everyone, the moderators. Thanks for your good work as always. Hopefully you didn't have to do too much tonight. Members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Just Incredible, legendary Andrew Chang. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to my Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. Thanks to my sponsors, lead sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Jason's in the chat. And my secondary sponsor, Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. And thanks to all of you. Whether you subscribe today as a new subscriber, welcome aboard. Thank you, Carol, for the donation. I appreciate you. Thanks to everyone who liked the video. Make sure that you do that on your way out. And if you're listening on the podcast platforms, make sure you rate and review as well. Tomorrow night, I am working a work event till about 9:30. Get back to the office 10:30. So I'm going to aim for 11. But I'll know by 9 o'clock tomorrow night if I can't do it. And I'll put an announcement. So aim for 11. Would love to have you back. But if I can't do it for whatever reason, I will let you guys know on my community page. And that's the plan for tomorrow night. Then Thursday, Canucks play against Kraken. I have the Steve Dangle Show, Game Over Vancouver. And then I have my show as well. So once again, thanks to all of you. I have to get going now. So I appreciate you being here and sticking with me so late in the evening. So as always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And I gotta tell you, the girl that I tried to date before I met my lovely wife, Gail, that girl, the one before Gail, I asked her to meet me at the gym, but she stood me up. She never showed up. So right then and there, I knew that we weren't going to work out. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.